Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Olsen-Day of the New York Times, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this exciting Times Talks. We're live here in New York at the Times Center, and we're live around the world on the web. Tonight's guest is one of the most influential and intriguing singer, songwriter, musicians in contemporary music. Everyone wants to see her and hear her, and we're thrilled to have her here tonight on our stage. In 2002, her debut album, Come Away With Me, swept the Grammy Awards and sold 25 million copies, launching a new major recording artist and performer. Since then, she's won 9 Grammy Awards and sold over 40 million records worldwide. Her latest album is Little Broken Hearts, featuring original songs that she co-wrote with producer Danger Mouse. And this is exciting news. Just this week announced she will perform the Oscar-nominated song Everybody Needs a Best Friend from the movie Ted at the 85th Annual Academy Awards in LA on February 24th. You will hear much more about that, her new album, and her other work from our moderator. In the 23 years that he's been chief pop music critic for the New York Times, he has watched YouTube record an album in Dublin, spent an evening at Radiohead's favorite pub, interviewed Tori Amos in Madrid, and been personally denounced from the stage of Madison Square Garden by Axl Rose. Twice. Please join me in welcoming John Pareles and our very special guest, Norah Jones.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's great to almost see all of you in these bright lights. Norah, you're going to do the Oscars.
Yeah.
What kind of preparation do you have to do?
Dresses and, just finding the right dress is probably the most forefront thing on my mind. But I guess I should think about the song, too. Yeah, I told Seth, because Seth MacFarlane is hosting the Oscars, and he's my friend, and he made the movie Ted. So it's kind of special for me to get to do it because my friend's hosting, So that's a pretty sweet gig.
It's short, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a little shorty version of the song, but I have no idea. I told him if he wanted to do something funny, like, I don't know if there's going to be like a dancing bear or something. That'd be fine with me.
Can you tell me about the song? Because it's got a lot more words than you usually have in a song.
Yeah, you're right, it does. Well, Seth wrote the song, and with his partner, Walter Murphy, yeah. They wrote the song, and he asked if I would sing it, and he sent me a recording of him doing it. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like a big band song, and I stumbled over, how do you come to be stuck with a bummer like me in the studio? I definitely stumbled and had to do that one a few times before I got it.
Sounds pretty clear on the recording. I think you got it. I think you nailed it.
I better work on that, actually. Thanks for reminding me.
Tongue twisters.
I don't want to have a tongue twister on the Oscars.
But do you get the award if the song wins, or does he?
I don't think I do, because I didn't write it, so.
That's not fair.
I know, so I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get the award, even if it wins, but it'll just be fun to go and sing it.
You do have a lot of awards.
Yeah, I'm okay without an Oscar. I think I'll be okay if I don't get it. I'm for sure Adele will win, but we'll see.
I wanted to talk about Little Broken Hearts, which I was just playing again, and I love. I put it in my top 10. It's
Thank you.
But it was really a change from all of your other albums, because your other albums were basically made with a band, and that one you just sequestered yourself with Danger Mouse.
Yeah, with Brian, Danger Mouse.
Can you talk about that? Because it's got so many weird sounds on it.
Yeah.
It's a real change. Would you do it again?
Oh yeah. Brian and I became such good friends, and I would love to do it again with him. I would love to do it with someone else too. I mean, I did enjoy the process, but it would have to be someone I felt really good with, you know, because when you're sequestered with someone, you want to make sure you get along, and make sure you like the person enough to eat many, many meals with them, and, you know, like their ideas. I liked how he kind of brought me into a whole different soundscape that I wouldn't have known how to do on my own, because I don't have all that kind of gear knowledge, you know. But we also it was very easy. It wasn't that scary, even though on paper it sounds like a scary thing to try. It was just super comfortable, so that was nice.
Well, was it a couple of weeks?
It was 2 months.
2 months.
We did it for 5 days in like 2009, I think, to try it, just to see how we worked together. We had already met on the Rome record, so we already knew each other. And it worked great, and it was fun. So then we did it 2 years later. It was like about finding a hole in his schedule and my schedule, so.
Did you come in with ideas or songs, or was it all on the spot?
It was pretty much on the spot. There was maybe like 10%. There were a few little chord change ideas that I had or he had, but mostly it was all in the studio.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe like 2 or 3 songs started with one of us saying, oh, I did have this idea, but it was nothing was fleshed out almost. You
and
know?
Words too?
No, there were maybe like a couple words.
Because I mean, there's some of your saddest songs and there's some of your angriest songs.
Yeah. Well, Brian encourages that for sure. And I mean, his studio has all these Russ Meyer posters, all these like sexy, scary women all over plastering the walls of his studio. And he has all the beautiful LA sunshine blocked out with dark curtains. So it's definitely a dark vibe in the studio. It's a good vibe, but a dark, good vibe. So that encouraged all that, you know.
So it's nighttime during the daytime?
Definitely. Yet we kept very sane hours, like 11 to 7 every day. So.
What did you do after 7 p.m.? You're musicians.
I don't know. I guess we're kind of nerdy. We have a life after 7 p.m. maybe. Go out to dinner. Yeah.
But then you had to teach the songs to your band.
Yeah. Well, and I had a new band, so I had to teach all the new songs to the band and all my old songs to the band. And it worked out really well though, because they just happened to be the right fit, and they sound great on the new stuff, but the old stuff still works great. And you know, if there's ever something that doesn't sound right, you can always change an arrangement, and that's more fun anyway, to have a few different versions of songs live.
Yeah. I mean, do you still feel when you're singing about? I mean, you've had a lot of breakup songs now in the catalog.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the only one.
But I mean, do they come and get you, or is it more a matter of singing? I mean, do the lyrics still strike a chord for you?
Not really. Sometimes it depends on the night, you know, and what you're thinking about when you're performing. It strikes a chord with me in that I definitely understand the lyrics, but I'm not torturing myself every night. You know what I mean? I'm not reliving a bunch of stuff every night. So
it's more set. It's a performance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crying backstage every night, you know, before I go on and after I go on. And you
weren't crying when you wrote them either.
I wasn't. I was in a really good zone, actually. There was a lot of saved up stuff that I was excited to let go of, and that worked really well. You know, it felt good to put it all in song, and it felt good to talk through it with my friend Brian, who ended up being such a good collaborator. You know, he came up with a lot of the ideas. I mean, we had shared experiences also, and you know, that's a pretty human thing to go through. Yeah. We can all relate.
But before that album, you did featuring.
Yeah.
I mean, which is a collection of all of the songs not all of them, a handful of the songs you've sung with other people.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, was it? You're everywhere. I mean, Herbie Hancock, Outkast, Ray Charles. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I mean, did you expect to have that kind of a selection of possibilities?
No, I mean, whenever we were talking about the possibility of doing this album, and when we made the actual list and we put a little CDR version of the songs together so we could sequence it, I was kind of impressed, actually. Like, I was very, you know, kind of humbled to be able to sing with some of my heroes from childhood, some of my mother's heroes from childhood, you know.
Ray Charles.
Yeah, and also just some really cool peers, Foo Fighters and the, you know, Outkast and Q-Tip. So.
Yeah, but you made the Foo Fighters do a bossa nova.
I didn't do that. That was their idea.
I mean, that's the most un-Foo Fighters song.
I know. I remember being called into that one and thinking, am I going to get to rock? And then, no, it was a bossa nova, of course. But it was fun.
Who's left on your list that you are waiting for the phone call?
I don't know. I've been so lucky. I don't want to, you know, overwish or overreach, but I don't know. Probably a lot of repeat offenders. I'd rather, you know, get deeper with some of the people that I've gotten to know a little bit and
like
go
Ryan
further.
Adams or somebody?
Yeah, like Ryan Adams. We've gotten to collaborate a lot, and each time we do, it just gets more and more fun. So stuff like that.
Do you learn from people? I mean, do you like watch them sing and think, oh, that's an interesting way to?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you always pick up stuff in the studio. Even if you don't use it, it's interesting to just see how other people tick, you know? I mean, everybody's different. Some people already have their vocals done and they just want you to add to them. I remember waiting on Andre 3000 in the studio, and they had the track, but they didn't have any melody, and I didn't know what I was going to be singing. And he came in a little bit late, not too late, but a little late, and he sang all his vocals while I was just waiting to do mine. And he did them so quick, and it was so spontaneous, but it sounded so good, and that was it. That, you know, I didn't know if that was going to be the scratch track, then he was going to redo them after I left, or what, but that was just it. He just came in, did it, and then we were done. So everybody's different.
Anybody, I mean, that sounds like a pretty surprising experience. I
Yeah.
mean, what was it like recording the Joni Mitchell song with Herbie Hancock?
That was fun. Well, you know, and the most fun thing is to when you're actually recording live with the person in the studio, with the band and everything. I mean, that's always a treat. And so getting to do that with Wayne Shorter and Herbie Hancock, I mean, that was my high school jazz nerd, inner jazz nerd was just like exploding, you know? I was so excited, and it's a hard song. Also doing a Joni song, who I love, and that's a hard song. All her songs are very hard to cover, so that was probably the most nervous I've ever been.
Really?
I was definitely nervous to sing with Ray Charles, but in a different way. I was nervous to do the Herbie song because I didn't know where one was half the time, you know? Like, they play so fluid and loose, and it's like, this sounds amazing. Where is one? Oh my God, I don't want to come in wrong on this, you know? So.
And it's a live take with the band.
And it's a live take. I was separated, so, you know, if I really screwed up, I could have fixed it, but.
Did it take a long time?
No, couple hours. We did like 3 or 4 takes, I think.
Arif Martin, I think, said you're always on pitch.
Really?
Yeah, like some interview he said she's always on pitch.
Oh, that's sweet. I miss him.
Yeah. I mean, that album must have caught you by surprise. I mean, that was your first album.
Oh, the first album, yeah.
I mean, that must have caught you by surprise, did it?
To say the least, yeah.
I mean, you were a kid.
Yeah, I was really young. I was like 23.
What was it? I mean, did it turn your head around to just see?
A little bit. It was a little wild. Success is amazing, and it's also kind of scary sometimes. But I think I grew into it. I think it took a few years, you know. At first, my instinct was kind of to run away or to be like, why are you listening to this? That's awesome, but I don't get it, you know. It was just confusing at first. Yeah.
No, and it's, but meanwhile, you're projecting this image of relaxation and calm and serenity.
Well, I wasn't trying to. I think we were just trying to record the songs, you know, and that's what came out. I didn't realize how calm and serene I was until after the album was made. Yeah.
Really? I mean, it wasn't I mean, it was just a combination of the musicians and the material?
Yeah. It was really, there wasn't like a broader concept behind the album. It was mostly just trying to capture something that we were doing at the time that seemed to be working well. And I had come from singing jazz and playing jazz. And all of a sudden I started writing these country songs when I moved to New York. And I was hanging out with songwriters. So I really had been singing only jazz up until this point, and then I started doing gigs with these friends, and we kind of formed a little band where we did original songs, Jesse Harris's songs, Lee Alexander's songs, and also my songs. and we snuck in covers, and we would do like a true jazz standard every once in a while, but it really was mostly original songs and kind of more off-the-wall covers. And so when I got taken to Blue Note Records and we ended up making the album, it was really just kind of, well, let's go into the studio with this and see what we get, and that's what ended up happening.
So was the living room around then? Where were you guys hanging out?
Yeah, we played at the living room lot, the old living room, and then it moved to the new spot.
And no, I mean, because it's a document of a New York scene of people who like had heard jazz but loved country. I mean, it was simplicity informed by complexity.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse Harris, he wrote Don't Know Why, and he's an old friend of mine. He's like the perfect example of kind of what I like about that sort of style of songwriting. He knows so much about jazz. He loves jazz. He goes to see amazing music all the time. He loves Brazilian music. He loves all kinds of, different kinds of music. So it's not as straightforward as you might think all the time. Sometimes he sounds Brazilian. I'm afraid he's going to turn Brazilian, He keeps going to Rio to hang out. So that's what's fun about that music, and that's kind of how we related. And I'm from Texas, so I didn't know how country I was until I moved out of Texas, really. But it turned out I was kind of country, so.
Well, I've seen you play a lot, and in New Orleans, you're sort of New Orleans, at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, you got the like brass band kind of second line feel, and at Bonnaroo in Tennessee, you're really country, and in New York, you're sort of...
I'm wearing all black.
I mean, there's a lot of threads in your music that you can tug at different times.
Yeah, it's all like American folk music to me,
Jazz and everything.
Yeah, jazz and country and all that stuff.
Do you listen a lot still? I mean, because you're awful busy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you listen to other things?
I listen to music all the time. I have trouble finding new music, and I need to be better about that, because there's nothing like that feeling of finding something that you love and getting to hear it for the first through 10th time, But, we've been buying a lot of vinyl lately, so that's always fun, because there's so much good old stuff that you just don't find.
Well, what's your pick? What fell off the shelf recently?
Well, actually, Solomon Burke is not so rare anymore. He really got his due, and everybody.
Man.
God, he's so good. But this one record that I didn't know, even though I had a lot of Solomon Burke, like on my iPod and stuff. This one record, The King of Rock and Soul, it's just so good.
I don't know that one. I got to go find it.
Really good. Yeah.
What makes it jump out?
Well, he's badass, but also, other than that, there's soul songs, but there's also all these cool songs with acoustic guitars, and the background singing is always great. And it's just kind of interesting record.
So you're going to make a soul gospel record next?
I don't know about that.
Church choir
I cannot sing like
you?
Solomon Burke. I know that.
You're not as large as Solomon Burke.
Oh, well, he was so sweet.
He was pretty great. The countryside of what you do sort of comes and goes. I mean, do you go back to Texas?
Yeah, I do a lot. Not to where I grew up, but I go to Austin a lot. I don't go to Dallas as much. But all my friends kind of migrated to Austin, and so I love that town.
Yeah, it's a fun town. Big live music town.
Yeah, and barbecue. Love it.
The danger of the barbecue.
Yeah, I love country music. I feel very close to it.
Well, no, when you do a song like Cold, Cold Heart, I mean, it's not many words, not many chords.
Yeah, but such good words, such good chords.
Yeah.
The order is really good.
Do you, when you write, do you pare stuff down? Do you have a lot and then whittle it down and think I'm doing too much here?
I'm not a too mucher. I'm more of a, can I get away with just 2 verses? So yeah, I don't whittle that much. I tweak and I change around stuff a lot, but I'm not one of those people who writes like pages of lyrics and then cuts it all out. I guess I just don't have that many lyrics in me, But I don't know. I like simple. Maybe that's why my words don't have a lot of songs. I mean, my songs don't have a lot of words. That's the second time I've done that today. You know what I meant.
Yes.
Right?
Are you writing, in the middle of everything else you're doing?
I kind of go through periods where I do and I don't. Right now, I'm not really. I did write one song when we were in Japan a few months ago. I might play that later, if you don't mind. A little ditty. It's a little ditty, but I'm not really writing a lot. I kind of, this is my 5th album, not including side projects and stuff. And I find that if I've written a bunch of songs for an album, it takes so much energy getting it recorded and sort of tweaked to where it sounds right. And then after that, you're focusing on touring and recreating the songs live. And it usually takes like 6 months or a year for me to start writing again.
You need silence and solitude and...
I don't know if I need that. It just takes time. I don't know why. I've written a lot on the road. I've written a lot on home when I had nothing to do. So it really just depends on my brain, I guess.
Do you need to be in a certain mood? I mean, because I was listening to Feels Like Home in the fall, and there are just so many
happier songs.
Yeah.
Unhappy or happy?
Unhappy, I find.
Unhappy. I think most people find it easier to be creative when they're in a dark space, maybe. I mean, that's what I've heard. Maybe.
Is that true for you?
Yeah, probably. But that said, I mean, I still play a lot of music when I'm happy, and actually I've been playing the violin. Well, I'm trying to play the fiddle right now.
Wow.
And my boyfriend was laughing at me because he'll come downstairs and I'll just be like fiddling away, and it sounds horrible. My dog left the room. I'm definitely, far from good, but I'm just so excited to do it. And so it's exciting for me to have like a little new project that's fun. And I don't know if I'm going to write any songs from it, but it's definitely fun to still play,
Are you playing fiddle? Are you playing like hoedown stuff?
I'm trying to play hoedown stuff, yeah.
Cajun and that kind of thing?
Yeah, which I don't really listen to a lot of music like that though, but for some reason, I just like the way it feels to play it. I'm not there yet, so I didn't bring it, don't worry.
All dogs are safe in this room.
All dogs are safe.
Dogs are music critics now.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, there must have been some overtone there.
Oh yeah. Well, the screechy violin is not the sound for a dog. So.
Why did you take it up? I mean, what possessed you?
A fan gave it to me about 8 years ago in South Korea. They mailed it to me, and it was just a beautifully made. They made it. I guess they are an instrument maker, and it's a beautifully made violin, and they even put my name on it. It's so cute. It's like real, yeah. But I kind of just, it's a hard instrument to learn, but we had a month off, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, that fiddle. It's a violin, but I'm going to make it a fiddle. And I don't know, I was just bored.
So Cajun, not Stefan Grappelli. No,
that's
gypsy.
way too hard. That's really hard. At least the hoedown music, you can it's a little easier.
Lower positions on the neck.
Yeah.
Did you get a book, or did you just start to play by ear?
No, I've been taking lessons with someone in my neighborhood.
So, professional.
Yeah.
No, I mean that seems like a really difficult instrument to pick up.
It's so hard.
I mean, a piano, it's right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it also kind of hurts your neck.
Yeah, they have to make a stand that just holds it for you.
The lazy fiddle stand. That would be good.
I mean, it seems like you've gone from being a jazz nerd in college to simplifying.
Yeah.
I mean, was that just instinct, or was that a plan? I mean, because you were playing Thelonious Monk, you Ellington. Those are complicated, and I'm sure in college you were.
Yeah. Well, I never had crazy chops. That's probably why I drift towards the slow songs. But I don't know. I mean, I still love that music. The other good thing about getting into vinyl again is we've been listening to a lot of our old jazz records, and that's just so good. That's what made me fall in love with that music in the first place, And I don't know. It took me a long time to learn how to play chords on piano that didn't have a 7 and a 9 and weren't very complicated jazz chords, but still didn't sound dumb, Like now I kind of figured out how to play really simple things on the piano and voice it the way that to me it sounds kind of still interesting sometimes. And I think that's the reason I started playing guitar, is because you can play the simplest chord that everybody knows on guitar, and it just kind of already is voiced in a nice way. Because the way the strings are, I don't know. Is this getting too nerdy? Are you? Well, am I losing you?
Voiced is which note is above which note.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah, and I think I found it easier to write on guitar 10 years ago when I moved to New York and I started writing songs. I wrote them all on guitar because I didn't know how to write a simple song on piano, and I wasn't really feeling writing a jazz song necessarily. So that's why they all had like 3 or 4 chords, because that's all I knew.
Well, Blue Note might have been happy to have you as a jazz singer.
Yeah,
I mean,
they might have signed me quicker. Yeah.
Did it take time?
Not that much time, but Bruce Lundvall gave me some money to make demos. I mean, I also was still figuring out what I was doing. I was so young. So in a way, that was the smartest thing he could have done, because it gave me a little more time to work some stuff out and see what worked and what direction I wanted to go in. But I remember when he finally called me and told me he was going to sign me, he said, well, you know, Lone Star is a country song, but I like it, kid. Let's sign you. We're going to do this. So I guess I felt like in his mind he was a little hesitant because he didn't know where I fit on the label yet, because I really didn't know where I fit in genre-wise anyway.
Well, that's been the good thing about you forever.
Yeah, well, I feel really lucky that some people still call me a jazz singer. Some people call me other things too, but I like that. I'm fine with that, you know. I like that I don't have to be tied to something.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky I have a good label and good people around me who don't tie me down, you know.
Well, I mean, Bruce Lundvall was one of the great record guys. I mean, he was a music lover,
yeah, and
which you don't always find in the music business.
He's amazing, yeah.
But did he ever like give you advice? Did he ever play guru and you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's like my uncle or something. I love my Bruce. We always say I love you when we hang up the phone, you know. He's like dear to my heart, and he's just a good person, and he'll just tell you, you know. I don't think he loved my new album at first. To his ears, it just took a long time, and he told me after a few months. He didn't tell me when he first heard it, which was good because it would have crushed me. But a few months later, he's like, you know, it took me a minute to get into it, but I do love it now, and I really am proud of you. But it just took me a minute, and I liked that he did that. You know, I trust him. And in the beginning, he used to give me notebooks filled with standards that he used to write down on planes. Like, we would just kind of like trade standards, like baseball cards or something. Oh yeah, well, you know this one? Well, he knew all of them, so.
Yeah, he's been at it a while.
Yeah.
But did he ever help you to suggest, you know, singing techniques or?
No, he didn't do that. I mean, it was his idea for me to work with Arif Mardin, which was probably one of the best things. And one of the coolest things that he did.
I mean, Arif Mardin produced everybody, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, and he became another lovely uncle and collaborator, and you know, he did a good job with me in that he let me kind of do my thing. He let me use my own band. He let me sort of, also I was kind of bossy back then, way more bossy than I am now, which is kind of weird. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna, you know, just change everything. I was kind of stubborn. But
when you're 22, you know everything.
I knew everything. But yeah, no, but it was nice because it's also scary, young artists. Sometimes you get with a producer and they'll bring in all their own band and all their own guys, and all of a sudden, if you have something going with people, like a chemistry as a band, it's hard to just switch and work with a bunch of studio musicians. And sometimes it's great, but sometimes it's just, it can throw you off kilter. And so Arif let me work with all my band, and he was sort of there as our champion, you know, telling us what he thought and producing it in that way instead of just like wiping the slate clean and putting me in a new backdrop, you know.
Well, you haven't ever really done that. I mean, you've always had your guys.
Yeah, well, on this record, I kind of did that
with Brian, but he was your choice.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
nobody puts Nora in a corner. I don't know. I mean, no one's ever suggested to me, I don't know, my label guys are over there. Have you guys ever like told me to Have I ever said, no, I'm not going to do, nobody's ever like came up with a bad idea. You know, they come up with good ideas or they make suggestions. Well, no, I mean, I'm lucky because my label guys are really cool and they actually don't come up with bad ideas. I wasn't making fun of them. I was paying you a compliment.
They didn't want you in the spandex pants doing the disco remix.
Well, they're Blue Note Records, you know, they're cool. And I didn't ever feel like anybody was trying to push me in stupid directions or directions that were not comfortable. And I'm not afraid to try new things, you know, but...
You were ready to rock out with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to try stuff, but there's a line of, well, is this, you want me to try this for musical reasons or for some other stupid reason, you know? So we've all gotten along in that way pretty well. So that's been lucky for me to be with a group of people like that.
One thing, you have been with a bunch of little bands that play clubs in New York. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, last week I played at the Bell House all month.
You didn't tell me.
I'm sorry, I didn't tell anybody.
What did you do?
I was with my band Puss in Boots, which is me and Sasha Dobson and Catherine Popper.
And what do you do?
Well, there's a lot of jokes.
Is there electric guitar in there?
Yeah, I play electric lead guitar, which is fun for me. Sasha and I started this band maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and we started it to learn how to play the guitar, because neither of us really played guitar then. And we started out at the Fat Cat in the pool hall every Wednesday, and I would always wear a hat because I was failing all over the place, you know, just, it was pretty rough in the beginning. Luckily we sang, we knew how to sing already, so we kind of smoothed it over with pretty harmonies. But it was like, you know, we would make all kinds of mistakes in the beginning, and it was just pretty funny. But you could kind of hear what we were going for. And so over the years, we've just played a lot, and now we're playing the Bell House, and it's been fun. I feel more comfortable now. I can actually get on a stage. I don't have to be in a pool hall to play the guitar. So it really helped me get over just playing a new instrument and being scared to do so on my own stage, which is usually a theater or something, you know. So it's nice to do those gigs and just kind of, I'm a big believer in learning on the gig, which sounds bad, but it's actually good.
You mean before the paying customers, you're not absolutely perfect?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's how I learned how to play the piano and sing back in college, was I had a restaurant gig, and I was kind of messing up sometimes, but that's how I learned. I'm not a good practicer, I'll put it that way.
Huh, so you have to go out and do it?
Sometimes, yeah.
So besides Puss in Boots, what else do you have in the air? I mean, I know you're doing the Little Willies in the summer, the country covers band. Yeah, well, the Little Willies, we're gonna do a couple festivals out west and down in New Orleans. We'll do Jazz Fest, so that'll be fun. But you also had a band with makeup. Oh, El Madmo. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't played in a long time. I think that band's done, but we did make an album that nobody heard, so if you feel like finding it, it's pretty fun. El Madmo? El Madmo. It's kind of hard to say. You could do a double bill with Matmos. Oh, yeah. But it kind of grounds you, though, to do clubs where you can see people's faces again. Yeah, well, it's just fun. You know, it's like you can invite your friends, and it's not a big deal, and they come or they don't, and you have a drink on stage, and yeah, it's really fun. And I live in New York, you know, it's such a cool city for music, and I mean, I could live out in the country somewhere if I didn't want to play gigs when I'm off tour, but you know, I live here, I might as well take advantage of it. Just because I'm off tour, I don't want to just stop making music for months on end, so it's a nice outlet. It's a nice outlet to have. You like to play. I mean, you like to perform. You're not one of these, I want to be alone with my music people. Not really. I'm not really like, I need to perform either, but I just like jamming with my friends, and I'm not a jammer. Like, I don't want to jam at home, so we might as well do it out somewhere where we can have a drink. And with actual songs. Yeah, with actual songs. You're going to India this year, next year. Yeah. This year. It's 2013 now, this year. I can't believe that. But I mean, you're half Indian. Yeah. I mean, and that's the first time you've toured there? Yeah, I've never played there. I visited there a lot, but my dad just passed away last month. And
it was really, he for the last maybe 5 or 6 years, he's been saying, please, please, why don't you play in India? You never play in India. And I thought, well, okay, we'll play in India. And so he was really excited. And, you know, even though he's not around now to see it, I know that he was excited that I was going to be playing in India. So
it's good he knew.
Yeah, I'm glad he knew, and he was really excited for it. And I'm excited. I don't know what to expect, really. I don't really know if people like my music in India or not. I just know that it'll be fun. It's, you know, it's nice to be able, when you have a good group of people you're touring with and you like everybody, it's fun to go to exotic places. And, you know, for me to go to India, it'll be really special.
Yeah. You got closer to your father in recent years. Yeah,
well, like the last 13 years or 15 years, last 15 years, we've been pretty close.
Did he ever comment on your music?
Yeah, I mean, he was always very encouraging, you know, and yeah, he was like a good, encouraging dad. And, you know, he would try to teach me Indian songs. I'm so like not versed in Indian classical music that I don't even know, you know, not necessarily ragas, but there were a couple songs that he tried to teach me, and it was fun, you know, it was like two different worlds colliding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've recorded with Anushka.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also two cultures, because she's a classical Indian musician who also has a modern side. Yeah, she's really into all kinds of music, so it's been fun for us to kind of relate on that level. And, you know, it's easy for us to hang out when we record together, so it's always fun to record together. Did you record, where'd you record? Recently? Yeah. We recorded in Brooklyn a few weeks ago. Oh, so there's new stuff. Yeah, yeah, she's making a new album. So we tried some stuff. It was fun. We kept it kind of acoustic, and I played a little piano, and it was nice. Did she sing? No. She plays sitar? She's playing sitar, yeah. I'm trying to get her to sing. She's shy. Do you have that sister harmony thing when you sing? I don't think so. Well, we've never sung together. She's really shy. Huh. Yeah. Bring it out. Yeah. That's what's your schedule like? Because I mean, you juggle all these bands. You must be rehearsing. You're going to Australia and then India, right? Well, I'm going to Australia, and then I'm going back to LA to sing at the Oscars. So I'm going to be really tired, and then I'm going to go to Singapore and India. So yeah, wow. So the Oscar trip is definitely a big trip. It'll be fun though. I hope. Hope the dress fits. Do you think about how your songs affect people? I mean, do people talk to you and say that song really touched me? Yeah, I don't think about it, but when people come up to me, I mean, it always makes me feel really good, because I have songs like that in my life that have touched me. You know, well, like which? Well, you know, Neil Young songs or all kinds of songs. Depends on which era of your life you know that you're thinking about, but. So yeah, it's always nice when people say that, because I know how that feels. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, it's words and music, but if the song's really working, they kind of evaporate and it's something else. Yeah, it's something else. It's true. And that's the best kind of song, you know. Do you have an ideal song that you think of when you're trying to write? Do you have like, if only I could write a song as good as X? Actually, I don't ever think that when I'm writing, but I'm going to play a Lil George song for you called Heartache later that is one of my favorite songs as a song. It's just a beautifully crafted song. The chords go kind of in and out of weird spots, different key centers that's, you know, interesting to like a nerd, but like it's just such a beautiful song and a heartfelt lyric that you kind of forget about that when you're playing it. And so it's definitely one of my favorite songs. It's a beautiful song. Yeah, it's a good one. And speaking as a fellow music nerd too. Yeah. But, I mean, but Joni Mitchell songs too, I mean, those are impossible songs to figure out. Yeah, they're really hard to cover. And I mean, and once you've analyzed them, they still hit you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's fun to analyze music for sure, and you learn a lot by learning how somebody goes in and out of something, but it's got to either hit you or it doesn't, you know. That's the bottom line. It's all about chemistry. Yeah. Did you go back to your old stuff and listen to it, or?
I haven't, no. My second and third album, I would always go back and listen to the previous albums whenever we were mixing and, you know, finishing up the album. But I haven't really done that in a long time, in a few albums.
What were you listening for? Were you trying to like not sound like the last album?
Just kind of listening to see how it fit and if it worked and if it was, you know, this is where we are now. I wonder what it sounds like to listen to where we were then now, you know, and just kind of see where things ended up.
Yeah. But I mean, do you feel like you need to, have continuity?
No, I don't. But I think in the beginning, especially because I was so, you know, young and still so green, I just was kind of curious, like, well, this worked on here, but we were never trying to recreate that because I didn't want to make the same album over and over. But it was just interesting to kind of hear like how I was singing versus how I was singing now or stuff like that.
What changed? Analytically, what changed? You sing, I think you sing more.
I could analyze it, but.
You sing more, you sing lower now.
Well, I'm sure, I'm older now.
Not that much.
I did quit smoking though.
Were you smoking for a while?
No, not a long time. When I was young, I liked the way it made my voice sound, but I learned that it was also really bad for my voice.
Yeah, that's bad crutch.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know you were a Billie Holiday fan.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I am, yeah.
I mean, was she how you learned to sing?
Billie Holiday, I mean, I grew up listening to Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin. I mean, I tried to imitate Aretha Franklin in my car. Of course, I did not get close, but yeah, I would imitate all my favorite singers, Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, Otis Redding, Ray Charles, and then later came Joni and Dolly Parton and Bob Dylan. Sometimes I try to.
You need the cigarettes for that.
Yeah, I need more cigarettes for that.
I mean, because I know a lot of young singers start out as mimics. Mm-hmm. I mean, was there a point at which you found yourself?
Well, in high school, I played Billie Holiday in this school musical program that we did. And so I tried really hard to mimic her. And for a while, I had a great Billie Holiday impersonation. But then, you know, I started singing jazz in clubs and stuff in college. And yeah, I kind of started to find my own voice. I started to. I wasn't trying to mimic anybody necessarily. But yeah, it's really hard to not do that sometimes.
A lot of great things have been figured out already.
Yeah, I mean, I have a song on my new record and that I didn't even think of as I was trying to sound like anybody, but just between some friends, I have a friend who's a songwriter, and my other friend said, "Oh, you sound like you're trying to sound like Hannah there." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that, but I totally am. You're right." You know, like sometimes it's good if it worms its way in and you're not thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's you have to be in touch. You have to sort of still be intuitive.
Yeah.
With all your analysis.
Yeah. I mean, singing is a weird thing because sometimes all the factors can be the same, but it just doesn't work. It's like you're not getting the thing you want out of it sometimes when you're recording or even playing live sometimes. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's really just chemistry. You can't really control it all the time.
Well, do you have a way to summon it or a way to encourage it? Hot tea?
Hot tea. I try to just, you know, I try to warm up now. I used to never warm up when I was younger. I definitely have to now, a little bit. I don't know, stuff like that just helps it be more consistent, but beyond that, I don't know. You just have to kind of feel what you're doing and make sure you're singing songs that you love and you can portray instead of like trying to sing good, because that's where you get tripped up. That doesn't work. I learned that a long time ago. And I still catch myself trying to sing good and then it doesn't work, but that's definitely something to remember. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
To sing good is not the goal. The goal is to, you know, have the whole thing be good and just like do something heartfelt and that has a little something, you know?
Chemistry.
Yeah, even if you mess up.
Sometimes the mistake is the best part.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the beauty of live performance.
Yeah, that's why it's fun.
but then recording, you had to catch lightning in the jar.
Yeah, and that's why it was really fun to record with Brian this way, because we were basically catching everything as we were writing it. And in some cases, we ended up using the first time we sang a lyric or played the guitar part or whatever was what you hear on the record. And
which song? Do you remember which song?
well, a lot of them.
Really?
A lot of them, because you know, you get demo-itis a little bit. But when you're recording in this way, where we were layering a lot of things, we were able to like finish the track around the demo instead of having to re-record it all the time. So,
By demo-itis, you mean, oh, it sounded so good on the demo?
yeah, like it has a little something, so can we just use that? Yeah, which sometimes you can and sometimes you can't, but.
Just for hi-fi-ness?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that album feels like, it feels like the two of you in the Mad Scientist Laboratory a little bit.
It kind of was, yeah.
Were things tweaked after, I mean, was he adding stuff afterwards or?
No, we pretty much finished it together. We did everything together. We mixed it. I came back to New York and we mixed it, but he wasn't there for the mixes because we pretty much had everything set. And our engineer who was there with us the whole time, Kenny, he mixed it. So it was just a little bit of tweaking with the balances. So it was pretty much done.
There's some weird subterranean sounds in there, some like little guitar squeaks. And
yeah, that's Brian's specialty. And sometimes I would be playing a guitar part that wasn't even good. You know, it was like a mistake, like a meow, and he would loop it, and then that would be like a hook in the song. You know, so he's good at catching little things.
Are you thinking of another album, or you've got your year mapped out on the road?
I'm not yet. I'm not. I have no idea what I'm going to do. But I think when we get back from India, I'll probably want to sleep for a while and relax and stay home in New York.
And play the fiddle.
I'm taking the fiddle on the road. So I'm sure my hotel room wall sharers will be really bummed about that.
Poor neighbors.
Oh my God.
Poor neighbors. We're gonna do some question and answer from the audience. So you guys should start thinking about brilliant questions that I haven't thought of.
Brilliance.
I mean, eventually they're gonna put microphones on the aisles, and you folks should not be shy. Do you have a favorite song of your own? I mean, does it change with every album, or does it just it's the next one?
I don't know. I have a few that I'm more proud of than others, but.
For instance?
I don't know. Let me think. I don't know. I like Back to Manhattan. I like the chords and I like the words. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. That's a hard question. It was a good question.
When you're putting together a set list, though, don't you have to figure out?
Yeah, I never play songs I don't like anymore.
Are there some of those?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely songs I will likely never play again unless I come back around and really like them again. But usually our set lists are focused on stuff that I feel like sounds good together, but also gives a lot of variety, but is also stuff I just love to sing. Because you can tell when you're up there singing something that maybe sounded great 10 years ago, but you're not as in love with anymore, you can tell. So yeah. It's more fun to just do what feels really good.
Okay, so we have to talk about Miriam.
Okay.
Your murder lullaby.
I'll play that for you if you want.
Well, I mean, but...
Are you scared?
Terrified. Can't you tell?
Yeah.
But I mean, did that come to you in a bolt of lightning? Did that, I mean...
Kind of, not necessarily. It sort of started in a bolt of lightning, and then when Brian and I were finishing working on it, it was just like, he's like, no, this is a little messed up, I don't know. And I said, yeah, that's what's so awesome about it. And then, yeah, we argued over some of the harsher lyrics, and we toned them down a little.
Oh, there's more blood? And
yeah, there's an X-rated version. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
No, because I mean, your audience thinks of you as relaxing, and here you are, sweetly singing about doing somebody in.
Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do to keep yourself interested, right?
I hope
it's still a relaxing song if you don't listen to the lyrics. It's very relaxing, actually. If you don't speak English, it's probably really relaxing.
Do you ever think, I'm just going to, mess everybody up and rock out? Or is that what Puss in Boots is for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about how I want people to react to me so much. So, I mean, I do rock out sometimes. You might not know it, but you might not be present for it. But
I've seen it live.
You have? With who?
And some of your sets.
In my band, yeah. I'm not close to anything. I'm not trying to like get weird reactions out of people though. So, there's always a divide. Like some people like the relaxing, sweet stuff, and some people don't even like that, and they might like the other stuff. So you can't really pander too much.
No, I mean you really have to do what sounds good to you.
Yeah, do what feels right.
I mean, your instincts have led you pretty well so far.
So far, I'm pretty happy. If it all ended and I retired tomorrow, I would still be really happy, But I would be bored.
And you'd still be playing the fiddle.
Yeah, I'd definitely be playing a lot of fiddle. My dog would not be psyched.
Let's start on that side.
Hi.
Hi. Nora, my name is Britta.
Hi.
Please talk to the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Nora. My name is Britta.
Hi.
When I came to this country, I heard your dad play at Carnegie Hall. And now my daughter, who has profound autism and is a young adult, cannot speak. You are her favorite musician.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And when she heard you sing on television, she said, She said one sound which was So I want to ask you if you wouldn't be our guest at our next benefit event to help us raise funds.
Okay, well, we can talk after the show.
Yeah, I left a letter for you
Yeah.
with the stage personnel. And we're planning a farm for adult children with profound autism.
Okay.
For adults, yeah. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So would you like me to come around? Would you like me to come around later, or you just call me?
We'll find you after the show.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, Nora.
Hi.
Nora, my name is Steve, and
Hi.
I want to thank you for coming here. And John, this is a great venue to be able to kind of relax and talk.
It's a great
about this.
room, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is a beautiful venue. This is the closest I'll ever get to Broadway. That's for sure. Nora, we talked about how your music and how your voice can impact people, and I just want to share a personal situation. I'm starting a small business, and it's really, really tough. And I had this massive problem, probably something like I couldn't make payroll or pay the rent. And I was listening to your music, and I figured, hey, let me kind of step out of what I'm doing. And I started to write a song. And I wrote a song about you. And I'd like to read you a lyric or two and give you a copy if you wouldn't mind.
All right, I'll talk to you after the show then, as well.
I'm sure your boyfriend wouldn't mind. It's not a
Okay.
racist.
Let's hear it.
Can I read you? It's called Hey Jonesy, by the way.
I'm blushing.
This voice I heard, so smooth and lush from word to verse. This mellow, sweet tone that soothes my bones, coming from my soul and spiritual nurse. Got to wear white next time, not black. With piano keys, all my senses at ease, such a cool and soulful bliss. But whose voice is this, such a musical kiss? It's Jonesy, Miss Nora Jones. From musical roots, such high pedigree, on her own for all to hear such soul, with dark brown eyes and no alibis, with grace, with class and grace for all to behold. But whose voice is this, such a musical bliss? It's Jonesy, Miss Nora Jones. She'll sing a sweet lullaby, and that baby is forever too cool to cry. Sing a song for your lover, put in a trance so deep he'll never recover. But what voice is this? It's magical bliss. It's Jonesy, Miss Nora Jones.
I like
Thanks, Nora.
Jonesy. My friends call me Jonesy.
Do they?
Yeah. Thanks you.
Jonesy.
Thanks.
How you doing, Laura?
Good, how are you?
So we got the opportunity to see you up in Westchester last year. You performed with your new band. I guess you're doing a test run for the new album. Curiosity is, you had great success with the first band. Why make the transition and go into a new band?
Many reasons. I've had 3 bands so far since my first album.
Okay.
And there's all kinds of reasons to change a band. Sometimes people don't want to do it anymore. Sometimes you just need something new. Sometimes you just have a different sound and you need different musicians to accomplish that sound. So I've enjoyed all 3 bands I've had. And, you know, nobody wants to do the same thing forever, including my bands.
Sure.
So, you know, it just happens.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, Nora. I'm wondering how your collaboration with Lindsey Buckingham came about on the This Is 40 soundtrack, and what it was like working with him. He has a reputation for being pretty intense.
Well, I never met him.
Never met him.
I submitted some songs to Judd Apatow for the film, and he ended up getting John Bryan to produce the record and kind of tie everything in. And John Bryan just added everything to the track. The track was just me on piano and vocal. I recorded it in New York. And then John Bryan just added everything. I think he put Lindsey on and a bunch of other people, Chris Thiele, and actually I should read the list. I'm not even sure who else is on there.
Yeah,
but
it's a pretty interesting soundtrack. It's not getting much publicity.
yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fun for me to be a part of it because I love Judd Apatow and I love Paul Rudd. And I love John Bryan, and it was just fun to submit a song, and then they kind of did stuff to it, and then that was it. I didn't really do much except do the song, write the song, and send it in.
Did you watch the movie to write the song?
Yeah, well, Judd sent me the script, and I read that, and then he sent me a bunch of scenes, and so I did that song, and I also, it's me playing piano under one of the scenes in the movie. That's about it.
Thanks.
So it's all bionic.
Bionic?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, you send the track, and you know, the creature is created around it.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, but for a soundtrack, it was fun because it was a fun way to do that.
Someday you'll meet Lindsey Buckingham.
Maybe not.
Go ahead.
Nora, I wrote you an ode of 17 verses. If you don't mind.
Is it an iambic pentameter?
Your use of the phrase to portray a song I haven't heard it before. That's a good way to put it. And you have a very expressive voice. That's one of your gifts. My question is this: I'm a musician, but I'm not an envious one. But does it bother you at all that I'm so much taller than you? I mean, hopefully, just a little. Does it?
Yes. Best question ever. Ever. No offense, John.
Hire the professionals.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
John and Nora, first, thanks for a wonderful evening, enjoyable evening. Nora, when you were talking, it sounded like recording an album is sort of at your leisure, at least to some extent. And I was wondering if you ever get any push or nudge or pressure from the label to record another album.
I'm pretty lucky. I mean, early on, the first album being so crazy of a success, I got kind of the upper hand for a little while, and which was nice. So they could nudge, but that didn't mean I really budged. But we worked pretty fast on those first 3 albums, especially the first 2 albums. I definitely worked as fast as I could, and I didn't take that much time between albums, and I still haven't taken that much time. I mean, maybe to others it seems like I do, but by the time you're done touring, I'm usually already starting something new. So maybe if I took 5 years between albums, I would get a little bit more nudging. I don't know.
Okay, thanks.
Well, I mean, do you get deadline nudges? It's like, Nora, it would be really nice to get this out before Christmas instead of after Christmas?
Only after the album is pretty much done, or, you know, we're trying to find a release date based on something that's almost finished. That makes more sense.
So
that happens.
So it's like, finish the mix.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, John and Nora. My name is Doug. It seems to me that The Fall is your most autobiographical album. I mean, from my listens and so on. Is it different performing like those tunes when you're a little bit further removed from, you know, when you wrote them, let's say?
It's not so bad, you know? Not really. I mean, I have autobiographical stuff on all my albums, and then stuff on all my albums that's not. So I guess like we were talking about earlier, you know, it either feels good or it doesn't. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't feel good to sing a song, I probably won't put it in the set list.
Okay.
If it doesn't feel good for like 2 personal reasons, I don't know if that's ever actually happened.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. You're either feeling the lyric or you're not, you know. So
Thank you.
It hasn't been that much of a problem.
I mean, singers have to be believable.
Yeah. Well,
you can be believable without telling the truth too.
yeah, you can be believable and feel something without breaking down into tears if it's a sad song, you know, or like you know, just getting depressed or something. You can still feel those things and think about the lyric without, I mean, I'm not a method actor, I'll put it that way, you know, without being that.
Right. Well, when you wrote The Fall, were you in were you in turmoil or?
I'll never tell. No.
Never hurts to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through a lot of transitions for sure. Yeah.
Did songs come faster during the transitions, or?
I think I wrote a lot of that album on the road and home, and yeah, some of them came fast. I think most good songs come fast, and you might have to work it out later, like fix stuff or add a verse or tweak it. But I think when it's coming fast, it's usually inspired, which is good.
And instead of like sitting there sort of grinding it out.
Plus, I'm not somebody who can sit there and grind it out because I am lazy. I'm just not that personality.
That's why you have 10,000 songs on soundtracks, and you're on the road all the time, and you're learning film.
Well, no, but you know what I mean. I'm not somebody. It's like if it's like pulling teeth, I'm gonna move on and do something else because I can. I'm lucky in that way. But I'd rather sing a cover song than try to make the perfect song and pull my hair out over it. You know.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Go ahead.
Hi, Nora. My name is Amber.
Hi.
I'm a singer-songwriter as well, and I'm about to make my first album. And I was wondering, what is your process for initially kind of creating an album, and what would be your advice to an artist trying to find their sound?
Well, do you have all the songs already?
No.
Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, I made my last album in the studio. We wrote all the songs, which I didn't know could be done because I'd never worked that way. But do you have somebody you're working with that you like?
I have a couple of people, but I guess they are all kind of in different genres and they do different things. I feel like working with different producers is like it's like dating, you know, like one of them's really good at that, but then like they don't have time for you.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like,
you're right.
the other
I've
one's like
that
really into working with you, but they're terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like finding a really good balance.
You gotta find someone who's not too busy and wants to see you pretty exclusively, but like who you really like.
It's so true.
Yeah, who you like waking up with. Okay. Anyway. Just kidding, but it's. I think, you know, find the right person to work with, but also, you know, who says you need somebody to make your sound? You can do it yourself. Do what feels right to you. If it feels good and you feel like you're going in a zone that you like, I guess just try to follow it. I don't know. I'm horrible at giving advice.
Well, you did I mean, you were all over the place. You were like wax poetic. I mean, you did a lot of like sort of test runs to see who you were, I think.
Yeah, I was in a few different bands early on, and I realized what I liked and what I didn't. I didn't love all of it, even though I loved the experiences. You know, I knew what I wanted to follow and what I didn't. So if you have the opportunity to maybe just go out and play live a lot, as much as you can, and don't be afraid to try things. You know, there's the perfect little hole-in-the-wall clubs in New York where you can try stuff and nobody's going to be the wiser if you suck at it, you know. I've learned that. I expect a fiddle gig soon. And
no dogs allowed.
Yeah, no dogs allowed. That's what's great, is you can try stuff and, you know, maybe try to work with people in that way and just feel your way around, I guess. Don't rush into anything.
Cool. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi, Nora.
Hi.
My name's Janie. You look just as beautiful in real life as on the album covers. I love all of your moods and all of your sounds. So it's hard to say one that I like the most, but there's one I have a question about. But I will have to say, when I heard your very first album years and years and years ago, I was getting a massage. And,
I get that a lot.
But it was your version of Cold, Cold Heart that made me go, oh my God, I have to go get this, which I did right after my massage. But the song that I have the question about is from the Little Willie's album, that when I first heard it, I was cracking up because it was so different from the other ones. And I want to know about Roly Poly. And I think I saw Lou Reed cow tipping. How did that one come about?
Well, Roly Poly's an old Bob Wills song that we just like to do live, and it's fun. The cow tipping song, I actually lived in the West Village about when we were making that album. And I used to live across the street from Lou Reed, and I would see him on his roof sometimes doing like martial arts. And And Richard and Lee, who are in the band, were on a road trip in West Texas, and they called me, and they're like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just watching Lou Reed on the roof, you know, eating Cheetos, whatever." And so they started the song, because they were in West Texas, so they were thinking about cow tipping, and then they were thinking about Lou Reed, because I had just been watching. Anyway, that's kind of how it was born. And it was born out of an absurd road trip, I think. They just were like totally high on fumes, driving across country, losing it a little bit. And I mean, you know, they're tired, that's what I meant. Not they were high driving, but sorry. Yeah, that's how it came about.
I didn't think Lou Reed was in Texas, but
No.
just checking to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know if he would do that. He's a nice person.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm lucky enough to be here tonight because one of my students gave me these tickets as a gift.
That's nice.
And so my day is filled every day with teaching junior high students, and I'm a chorus teacher. And so all day long, I play piano and I sing. And I try to provide for them, you know, support to the students who feel like they might do this someday, and the ones who feel like they might do this, but I'm like, ooh, oh, that's a good idea, you know. Everyone's a star in their own heart.
Mm-hmm.
But, so my question is to you, do you remember your first music teacher or a certain music teacher that might have been someone that you remember to be supportive, or someone who you thought, I could do this with my life?
I had a lot of really good music teachers, and I had a lot of really amazing choir directors, because I never took voice lessons really, but I was in a bunch of choirs, so that was essentially amazing voice lessons. So my
Makes you a good musician.
Yeah.
Singing in a choir.
Yeah, well, my first music lesson ever was singing in the church choir when I was 5, the children's choir. And my teacher, Shauna LaCroix, she came to my show in Dallas this summer, so I still keep in touch with her. But she was just really sweet and really cool, and I think she came from a Catholic background, even though it was a Methodist church, and so we were singing like these Latin hymns, you know, which was weird but fun. And I don't know, I guess, yeah, you just got to be encouraging, and I've had a lot of encouragement. I got a lot of solos from my choir teachers, which was very encouraging, and it gave me a lot of practice. So.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Nora.
Hi.
I read a statistic somewhere, and don't quote me on this, but I think it was that in the past decade, the 2 highest grossing artists of the past decade were Eminem and you.
Wow.
And
somehow I don't think that's probably accurate completely.
No, I think it is. I think you actually topped Eminem maybe recently, but
wow, I don't know about that.
Duet.
No, it's interesting.
I see a duet.
Yeah, right.
I would love to. I love Eminem, actually.
Well, that's part of my question. I mean, like, the way he lives his life so publicly is in one way, and then you know, being the other top grossing artist, lives your life in a whole separate way. And I'm wondering if that's a constant challenge to try to be sort of not as publicly out there as he is with that much success.
Well, I don't know. I just kind of live my life. I don't really gravitate towards the public sort of things that a lot of artists do, which get you seen more, because, I don't know, I just don't.
But at that level, can you stop it?
I'm lucky. I don't know if it's because I didn't invite it in early on. I think that's part of it. I think early on, if you invite all that stuff in, it's really hard to get rid of it. But if you don't invite it in, it's not hard to get rid of, you know?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Nora.
Hi.
I'm actually a vocalist myself. I'd invite you to my senior recital, but I think you're going to be in India. My question, well, actually, I have a request and a question. My request is if you can sing and play Drown in My Own Tears, the Ray Charles cover that you did a while ago. And my question is, what was it like collaborating with Ray Charles on his duet album?
Well, I wish I could do that for you, but I don't know it on guitar. I don't know those kind of bluesy chords on guitar. I only know country chords. But it was amazing. Well, the first time I met Ray Charles was at a Elton John tribute show that year, and
Elton John was also on that duet album.
yeah, he was also on the album. But I met Ray Charles backstage at that show for the first time, and I just started crying, and I felt like a total dork. But that was my reaction to meeting him. I've never had that reaction to anybody. But so I flew out there, and I took my mom because she was such a big fan, and he was not well. He died maybe 6 months later. So. He was definitely not in great shape. He was sick, but he had a lot of enthusiasm, and he was so psyched to play, and he was so nice. And we did the song 3 times, and then he left, and that was it. It was a live take. Billy Preston played a live, he played the organ, and it was really fun.
Did he do it 3 different ways?
No, we just did it 3 times to make sure we got it.
But I mean, was he improvising each time?
Oh yeah, I mean, everybody was. It was definitely, it wasn't like 3 completely different versions,
Right.
but it was, I stood there and I watched him. I was like this close to him, and we were singing together, and that was great. And I added piano after because he played like a weird keyboard thing. I don't know what it was that he was playing towards the end of his life. It wasn't a Rhodes, but it was a digital keyboard. And so I added piano afterwards, which I was excited about and nervous about. But yeah, we just sang. It was great.
It's great meeting you.
Thanks, you too. Good luck with your recital.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hello, Nora.
Hi.
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm Carmen.
Hi.
My husband got me my tickets because we sold out, and thank God for internet. So I'm here tonight to ask you to see if you could sign my CD, because I hear your songs every day, and For a Broken Heart is my favorite.
Thanks. Yeah, sure. We'll meet you back there after.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nora and John, hi. My name is John. I'm actually came all the way from Canada to see you, Nora.
Wow.
I think you've got the most incredible voice and the most melodic voice I've ever heard in my life, and I really think it's a reflection of your personality. You just come across so beautifully with people. I've seen you in concert 3 times, and every time it's just a thrill.
Thanks.
My question is a simple one. What steps are you planning to take to further your acting career? Because, as I said, you just have such a magnetic personality.
Well, not very many. I enjoyed it, and I would love to do it again, but I've just been so busy. I don't think I've had time to think about that. And I would love to do it if I had time to really work on it. I don't know. I have a little side project called White on Rice, which is super silly with some girlfriends, and we do little songs and skits, and that's kind of a fun outlet. But beyond that, I'm not like going out and auditioning for stuff necessarily.
Well,
But
thank you. You're just incredible.
thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Nora, for your music. 2 questions. One, do you think because you live in New York, there's more creativity that you get living in New York versus somewhere else? And the second question is whether you see any sort of vision of where you'll be 10 years from now, 15 years from now in music, and do you have is it purely serendipity in terms of where you go, or do you have a sense of what you'd like to do in writing a symphony or play?
No,
or
my brain hurts just thinking about that. Well, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing next year or in 6 months, but
In
I
6
know.
months, you'll probably be on the road.
No, no way. Oh man, in 6 months I'll still be recovering from my trip to Australia, to LA, to India. But yeah, I'm more of a kind of see what happens, just kind of take it as it comes kind of person. And I think New York is really creative and great, and I love it, but I also probably, you know how it is living in a city like this. You forget to go to the museum. I probably just scratched the surface on the creativity in the city because you get stuck in your own circles, and then you forget to go discover all there is to offer. So I'm sure all kinds of cities have lots of creativity going on, but this city has more creativity than I probably even know is there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Nora.
Hi.
Obviously, you and I have something in common in that we're both Ray Charles fans.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the finest albums he did was, I believe, in 1951. The album was Ray Charles and Betty Carter.
Oh yeah, I know that album.
Great album. Have you ever thought about doing an album similar to that?
No. But I do love that album. I loved that album in college, and I always thought that album was so funny because they have such different voices, you know. But that's why it was so cool too.
It's interesting. I had the chance to meet Betty Carter some years later, and I was expounding about how great that album was.
Yeah.
And I said, how come you and Ray never did a second album? And she said he never asked me.
Aww.
But
well,
anyway.
You know, it's hard. Sometimes it's nice to keep stuff short and sweet and not play it out, you know, and move on to the next thing.
But you've done so many duets. I mean, not album-length duets, but I mean, you've done collaborations.
Yeah.
I mean, you did Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yeah, I've never thought about doing a whole album with one specific duet partner necessarily, but I don't know. Maybe when I'm old, that'll be the perfect thing to do.
Anyway, you were going to play.
Okay, I'm going to play. Do we have time still? Take this off real quick. There we go.
I still have used the microphone.
Cool. Well, are you guys into casual guitar playing? Okay. I hope you don't mind. I've been playing a lot of guitar this month, so. So this is the Creepy Lullaby.
Miriam, that's such a pretty name. I'm gonna say it when I make you cry. Miriam, you know you done me wrong. I'm gonna smile when you say goodbye. Now I'm not the jealous type, never been the killing kind. But you know I know what you did, so don't put up a fight. Oh, Miriam, when you were having fun in my big pretty house, did you think twice? Miriam, was it a game to you? Was it a game to him? Don't tell me lies. I know he said it's not your fault, but I don't believe that's true. I've punished him from ear to ear. Now I'll save the best for you. And I try not to hurt you, 'cause you might not be that bad. But it takes a lot to make me go this mad. Oh, Miriam, that's such a pretty name, and I'll keep saying it until you die. Miriam, you know you done me wrong. I'm gonna smile when you say goodbye. You know you done me wrong. I'm gonna smile when I take your life.
Thank you. That was kind of creepy. Not too creepy, right? You guys want to hear a new song then? Okay, so don't worry. I'm not saying I'm going in this direction, but it's just a little ditty I wrote in Japan. So I've been playing it with my other band, and it's been really fun. Thanks. Thank you. That's really fun with drums. Well, I don't know if fiddle's a good one for that one. I don't know, man. Okay, so I got one more song for you. And since this is kind of a weird thing to do, I thought it'd be fun to do 3 word songs like that new one. And this song by Lowell George, not a weird song, but just kind of stuff that's not necessarily recorded by me. So I'm going to do this Lowell George song called Heartache. It's on one of his albums. Is it on Thanks, I'll Eat It Here?
Yeah, I think so.
It is, but that's not the version that I love. I fell in love with the version of this song that you actually can buy on iTunes because I lost it once and I bought it on iTunes. And it's Lowell George and Linda Ronstadt singing harmony on this song called Heartache. It's just one of my favorite songs. I can hear it, so, okay, sorry. Well, I'm here out alone, and I wish I could stay, but I know you heartache, you stand in my way. There's no use in wishing, 'cause I ain't satisfied. I'm fit to be a misfit when you're at my side. Heartache
find another place to be. I'm tired of being your best friend. Look to another for your companion, and when you do, my pain will end. Well, there's nowhere at all where I'm feeling no pain. My body is sickly and my mind is insane. I call on you, heartache, to come show me how, 'cause I can't get no lower than the hole I'm in now. Heartache, find another place to be. I'm tired of being your best friend. Look to another for your companion, and when you do, my pain will end.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, John. Can we take a bow?
Sure.
Let's take a bow.